Live from Lowell Park in Cotuit for the first time since August 9th, 2019, the Harwich Mariners have made the trip all the way to the Five Villages to face off against the Cotuit Kettleers for the first time in 2022. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome inside the broadcast. Tim Foley alongside my broadcast partner, Devin Dobick. And that day, Devin, August 9th, 2019, that was the second game of the 2019 championship series between the Harwich Mariners and the Cotuit Kettleers. Last year's game at Cotuit rained out, so not since then have the Mariners made the trip here to Lowell Park.
Yeah, and it's got to feel kind of weird to be back here. I mean, with COVID and everything, and of course the championship that they were unable to pull out. Cotuit adding to their already fantastic postseason resume, and here they are back at Lowell Park. A beautiful Friday night. In the red jerseys are the Kettleers, and should be a great night for baseball, Tim.
Well, Harwich, they're on a bit of a skid right now, losers of their last three, and they picked probably about the worst team to run into on a three-game losing streak. The 9-0-1 Cotuit Kettleers, their only blemish on their record, a tie they had with Falmouth back the other night, and so this is a Cotuit team that is playing the game on an excellent level in every facet of the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing to complain about if you're Cotuit. They've had their success in every which way. Kind of a tale of two sides of the tape here. I mean, you got the Mariners. They've lost 5 of their last 6. Nothing's been going right for them after starting off hot, 3-1. And now the Mariners starting to lose more and more players as the days go on. Got to battle some adversity. And a big win against an undefeated team in Cotuit could be what changes the energy for them.
Kyle Teal, a player that the Mariners have lost. You mentioned players heading out of town. We'll talk a bit more about that as the broadcast goes along. But in the meantime, let's introduce you to today's starting lineup. First, for the Harwich Mariners, batting leadoff the shortstop, that's going to be Nick Goodwin. Batting second, the right fielder, Tommy Seidel. Batting third, the third baseman, Brock Wilkin. Batting cleanup, the first baseman, Joe Vetrano. Batting fifth, the left fielder, Ryan Mccarty. Batting sixth, the second baseman, Chase Engelhard. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, Jake Geloff. Batting eighth, the catcher, Matt Gassetti. And batting ninth, the center fielder out of Cincinnati, Cole Harding. Nick Goodwin stands in now, and he gets ready to take the first pitch from today's starting pitcher for the Cotuit Kettleers. It's going to be Cade Morris. As he stands in, the righty on the mound, Morris. He looks in, holds the glove about head height. Umpire behind home plate points, says play ball. First pitch misses down low, and it's ball one. The Cotuit defense looks like this. Cade Kearns out in left field. Victor Scott the second's in center. Brooks Baldwin's out in right. Kyle Karros is over at third base. Ryan Ritter's at shortstop. Chandler Simpson's at second. C.J. Kafis is at first, and Justin Mickness is doing the catching here today for Cotuit. The very next pitch is in for a strike, and the count here to Nick Goodwin's 1-1. Here's the pitch. That's going to miss up high, and the count now here is 2-1.
Yeah, Morris has really put it all together for the Cotuit Kettleers this year, but back in college, he went 4-2 with a 7.71 ERA in 18 games. He started one of them, and 25 2/3 innings pitched. He allowed just 13 walks and 15 strikeouts, but a guy that pitches to contact, he's not going to punch a lot of people out, but he does a good job of moving through the lineup.
As the 2-1 pitch was fouled off by Goodwin, the 2-2 pitch coming up in a moment as Morris rocks and delivers. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Down goes Nick Goodwin swinging. The very first batter of the game goes down on strikes. Already one strikeout here for Cade Morris. This will bring up the right fielder, Tommy Seidel. So looking at Morris's numbers a bit more closely on the season, this is his now third appearance, his third start at that. He has a 1-0 record across his 10 2/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 7 hits and just 1 earned run so far to this point. That's really been the MO of this entire Kettleers pitching staff. An ERA sitting at .94. That is the lowest in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Very impressive what this team's been able to do on the mound. As the 1-0 pitch comes in, that's going to miss down low. And it's a 2-0 count now here to the right fielder out of Alabama, Tommy Seidel.
Yeah, and now Tommy gets the boot up to the second spot in the lineup, which has got to feel really good for him. He's been hovering around 5 and 6 all season long, but the way he's been able to get on base every way other than the bat has got him up at the top for Coach Engler, trying to switch it up now when the team needs it.
As it's now a 2-1 count. Seidel swings and misses on the 2-0 pitch. Seidel's gotten on base in every single game that he's played in so far this season. He's trying to keep that extended here today against the Kettleers. Here's the 2-1. This one's going to be chopped on the ground, left side, foul. And the count now evens out at 2-2 here to Seidel. Brock Wilkin stands on deck. The third baseman here today out of Wake Forest. He awaits to see if he'll get a man on base to try to push around the base paths or if he'll be coming up with 2 outs in the inning. So
Tommy coming off a 1-for-4 day. He did have a run batted in. That was when he was in the 6th spot in the loss to Wareham.
He's been making more and more contact recently as the 2-2 comes in. Foul tip back to the mitt, held onto by Mickness, and there's the second out of the ball game. Already 2 strikeouts for Cade Morris, who is dealing early.
Yeah, he seems to be locked in. University of Nevada guy, and a guy who I said pitches to contact, but right now he's looking like he's punching guys out left and right. Let's see. This could be the biggest test for him in Brock Wilkin.
We'll see what Wilkin's able to do here as Wilkin stands in. First pitch to him is going to be off speed, 80 miles an hour. That's going to miss the zone, and the count here is 1-0. Mariners wearing their road blue jerseys with the red numerals. They say Harwich across the front, wearing the gray pants, red batting helmets. Kettleers, they are in their red shirt Friday red jerseys as the 1-0 pitch is in for a called strike. Count now is 1-1. They are wearing the pinstripe pants, and they have the camouflage hats rocking today as well. As the 1-1 comes in, swung on and missed by Wilkin. We have umpires for you today as well. Behind home plate, calling the balls and strikes, it's going to be Mark Delaney. Mike Farman's over at first, and Sparky Burns is going to be down the third base line here today. It's a 1-2 count to Brock Wilkin, trying to avoid being the third straight strikeout to open up the game here for Cade Morris and the Kettleers. Here's the pitch. Chopped on the ground, foul left side, and we'll do it again at 1-2. This is a Kettleers pitching staff right about middle of the road in regards to being able to strike guys out. Total of 89 strikeouts. That's good for 5th in the Cape Cod Baseball League. It's a 1-2 count here to Wilkin. He's been battling in this at-bat. Here's the pitch. Check swing, called strike 3. Down goes Wilkin looking. 3 straight strikeouts to open up the ball game from Cade Morris. An impressive start for the Nevada product. We head now to the bottom of the first inning. The Kettleers up to bat when we return. In the meantime, don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back inside Lowell Park here in Cotuit, Massachusetts. Tim Foley, Devin Dobick along with you. Let's introduce the Cotuit Kettleers starting lineup. Batting first, the second baseman, Chandler Simpson. Batting second, the center fielder, Victor Scott. Batting third, the right fielder, Brooks Baldwin. Batting fourth, the left fielder, Cade Kern. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, Carter Trice. Batting sixth, the catcher, Justin Mickness. Batting seventh, the shortstop, Ryan Ritter. Batting eighth, the third baseman, Kyle Karros, and batting ninth, the first baseman, C.J. Kafis. The very first pitch is fouled off, and the count opens at 0-1. 91 miles an hour it came in at from Sean Sullivan. The lefty on the mound here today for the Mariners. Has played his college ball over at Northwestern. Just recently announced he is transferring to Wake Forest, a future Demon Deacon, alongside Brock Wilkin. So should be exciting, the two of them now on the same team.
And Danny Corona as well.
Yes, Corona as well. Excellent. Well-noted Devon. So excellent that they all get to know each other a bit more here. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's going to be sliced off foul. Getting defensive is Chandler Simpson.
Sullivan's first start of the season. He's gone 2 games thus far. 2 2/3 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, and allowed just 2 hits.
This one's going to be sliced off foul over toward the Kettleer dugout. Some danger over there. They are able to all duck out of the way, and the count here remains 0-2. 4 pitches, and I believe we've seen 4 foul balls here as Chandler Simpson has been hacking away here early on. Sullivan comes set, rocks and delivers. And yet again, another foul ball here off the bat of the batter in Chandler Simpson. Simpson so far on the season, when you look at what he's been able to do, he's batting .529 so far, 9 of 17. Been very impressive to see. 4 runs scored, 3 walks. As he watches that one cross over home plate. Strike 3 called. 4 outs in this ball game, and they have all been strikeouts. Down goes Chandler Simpson, as this will now bring up the batter in Victor Scott.
Huge strikeout for Sullivan there. We've seen a lot of those battles in which Mariner pitching staff has led to walks, base hits, hung one out over the plate. So to start that game off with a strikeout looking after a good battle with Chandler Simpson, it's got to feel good for Sullivan in his first start.
As Sullivan rocks and delivers the first pitch to the next batter in Victor Scott, who also fouls it off. Also, doubly important, I would say, that you're able to strike out the first guy after Cade Morris came out and set the tone in his first half inning with a striking out of the side. And so Sean Sullivan already a first out on strikes. An impressive start for him as the 0-1 pitch gets away, and there's the first ball that's been thrown out of the hand of Sean Sullivan. Comes in at 76 miles an hour. Let's take a moment, introduce the Harwich Mariners starting defense. Out in left field, it's Ryan Mccarty. Center field is Cole Harding. Out in right, it's going to be Tommy Seidel. Third baseman, Brock Wilkin. Shortstop, Nick Goodwin. Second baseman, Chase Engelhardt. Joe Vetrano's over at first. And it's Mac Gussetti out of Florida who's doing the catching here today for the Mariners. The 1-1 pitch misses outside, and it's going to be a 2-1 count now here to the batter in Victor Scott. Sullivan rocks and delivers. 89 miles an hour right over the plate. Finds the zone. 2-2 count now.
And Scott, kind of a lackluster start to the season. This is his 7th game, and he's batting a team low 118.
As Sullivan stares in, here's the 2-2 pitch. That'll be hit toward the right side, fielded by Engelhardt. Throw onto first where Sullivan's covering, and they got him. Joe Vetrano, for one reason or another, decided not to cover the bag. Sean Sullivan came over instead and planted a foot right on first base, and they're able to record the out nonetheless. So mark that as a 4-1 putout.
Yeah, and a huge one at that. We've seen in recent games a lot of communication troubles between the Mariner defense, but Sean doing a nice job of calling off Joe Vetrano. He gets to the bag just in time to get a crucial out number 2.
And so the next batter up, it's going to be Brooks Baldwin, who on the first pitch he hits over to Goodwin, throw on to first in time. That ends the inning. A 1-2-3 inning. Down go the Kettleers. We're through 1 inning of play, and we've seen the minimum. 6 batters. We'll be back with the top of the 2nd inning on the other side of the break. In the meantime, you're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. We welcome you back inside of Lowell Park. Tim Foley, Devin Dobick along with you. It's been a quick one so far. Cade Morris came out in the top of the first inning, struck out the side, and then Sean Sullivan, similarly enough, was able to retire the only 3 batters he faced. And so already we're back to the top of the second inning. It's Joe Vetrano, the big first baseman out of Boston College, who watches the first pitch sail about a foot high of the strike zone at 86 miles an hour out of the right hand of Cade Morris. So far on the season, when you look at Vetrano and the numbers that he's put together, this is his 9th game as he chops this one on the ground, first base side. That'll just be picked up right along the first base bag by C.J. Kafis, and he will tap the bag. And so on 2 pitches, there's 1 away in the top of the first inning.
Yeah, tough break for Vetrano there. Just chops that one on the ground. He looked really good in batting practice today. Was sending a lot out to the warning track and over. So hopefully he can supply some of that power. A guy who hit double-digit home runs at Boston College last season, still looking for his first as a Harwich Mariner.
As the first pitch seen by Ryan Mccarty is going to go back to the backstop. Dimensions here at Lowell Park, it's about 320 down the left field line, 397 to dead center. And then I imagine that it's rather symmetrical dimensions here. Cannot see the right field dimensions, so about 320 down the right field line as well. The 0-1 pitch is going to be seen by Ryan Mccarty back over the plate. And so it's an 0-2 count now here to the Penn State Abington product. Trying to transfer for yet another year of collegiate baseball. As the 0-2 misses outside, did he go? Tried to check his swing, and he did. So we'll do it again. It's a 1-2 count now with still 1 away here in the top of the second inning. Mccarty, when you look at what he's done here this season for the Mariners, it feels like he's been heating up lately. On the season, he's batting 4 for 16. That's .250 as the 1-2 pitch comes in. This will be popped up left side into shallow left field. Calling everyone off is Cade Kern. He settles underneath it and makes the catch, and there's now 2 away here.
Yeah, but to your point, Tim, McCarty's been on a tear as of late. He had a homer against Orleans, and then he went 2 for 4 in the last game. So he's really starting to piece together his offense. 3 hits in the last 2 games. Had just 1 before that, and that was in his debut all the way back on June 12th.
And he is one of 3 Mariners with an on-base streak of at least 3 games right now, so he has been rolling. As the first pitch is into the next batter, and Chase Engelhard, second baseman for the Mariners here today. Another guy who it feels like has been heating up to some extent here. Had a home run yesterday, a 2-run shot back in the bottom of the second inning. Or not yesterday, excuse me, Wednesday. Yesterday, the off day, Thursday. Here's the 0-1 pitch to him. Hit on the ground, left side. That'll be stabbed at by Kyle Karros. Throwing across the diamond. Stretching out is C.J. Kafis, going into foul territory while keeping a toe tapped onto that first base bag, but he's got it, and that's the inning. 6-3 is how it ends. Yet another 1-2-3 inning defensively for Cotuit, as Cade Morris has not seen a whole lot of work. We head to the bottom of the second inning. Still a scoreless game here from Cotuit, Massachusetts. We'll be back in a minute. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to Lowell Park here. Tim Foley, Devin Dobick along with you, as it's going to be Cade Kern, Carter Trice, and Justin Mickness, the 4, 5, 6 hitters up to bat. Well, we're through an inning and a half, and we've seen the minimum. Another 1-2-3 inning for Cotuit defensively. No strikeouts this time around, however, for Cade Morris, but he's done well so far across his first 6 faced as Sean Sullivan's taken out to dead center. Cole Harding's there, parked right underneath it. He will make the catch, and on just, I believe, about 2 pitches, Cade Kern goes down on a fly out to center field.
Kind of shocked to see Cade Kern in the cleanup spot, hitting just 154 on the season. This is his 10th game, and he is without a home run and just 1 double, so not a huge power threat, but he gets the nod in the cleanup spot for the Cavaliers.
And so this now brings up Carter Trice. As Sullivan delivers the first pitch to him, that's going to miss outside, and the count here opens up at 0-1. So Trice, as you take a look at him and what he's been able to do, as this one's going to be pulled out now to left field. Underneath it, on the run, Ryan Mccarty makes the grab. Able to pull that one in, and quickly now 2 outs here in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
And that's a really nice shift by the Harwich Mariners. That ball was in the gap, and I mean in the gap. To a pull hitter, to have Ryan McCarty stationed that far over into left center field, made that catch so easy. Should have been extra bases for the Cavaliers.
And McCarty, he's been solid all season defensively when he's been called upon for the Mariners. It's just going to be doubly important for him to continue to get that bat going. As Sullivan kicks and delivers the first pitch to the batter in Mickness, that's going to be caught by Nick Goodwin, stretching out full extension. It looked like the first base hit of the ball game, but the K-State product says not today. We head now to the top of the 3rd inning, where it is still a 0-0 game. We have seen 12 batters, the minimum, through 2 complete. We'll be back on the other side. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Jake Geloff out of UVA steps in now for the Harwich Mariners, leading it off in the top of the 3rd inning. Geloff, a player here for the Mariners who's trying to really break through. It's been somewhat of a struggle for him early on here, as his last hit came all the way against Bourne back on the 17th of this month, and that's been his only hit of the season, as the first pitch into him misses for a ball, and it's 1-0. Morris back out there for his 3rd inning of work. Geloff's going to pull this one out to center field. That'll be settled underneath by Victor Scott. He makes the catch, and on 2 pitches, there is 1 down in the top of the 3rd inning.
Geloff just under that one. Another guy who has really just struggled as of late, but in the game at Orleans, he almost hit one opposite field over the fence. Kind of got robbed at the warning track, but just the way the game's been going.
It's a really impressive catch made by Jake Cunningham, who had reached up at the fence. It would have been gone had Cunningham's glove not been there, but Cunningham came down with it nonetheless. It's an 0-1 count here as Matt Gussetti swings and misses at the first pitch he sees. An off-speed pitch from Cade Morris at 80 miles an hour on the lower outside portion of the strike zone. The 0-1, another check swing. They say he did go around. And so it's now an 0-2 count here to Matt Gussetti. Gussetti, this is just his second start for the Mariners behind home plate. Came in a bit late as opposed to Tatum Levens, Kyle Teal. Teal no longer with the team, but one of the later additions as a catcher here. Here's the 0-2 pitch to him. Chops at it on the ground left side. Karros throws cross diamond, a low throw, but C.J. Kafis does a nice job getting down low, and he's looked solid defensively over there as he makes the catch for the second out of the inning.
And I mean, this is just pure dominance we're seeing from Cade Morris. He's thrown just 28 pitches through 2 2/3, motoring through Mariners. No one has reached first base, and now it's all down to Cole Harding out of the 9 spot to break that trend.
So it is Cole Harding who's up to bat now. Harding on the season batting .160, on base percentage at .222. The first pitch into him catches the outside part of the strike zone, a fastball at 93 miles an hour, and it's 0-1. He's 4 for 25 on the season. He's come across the score just 3 times, and he's driven in just 1. This ball chopped on the ground just off the end of the glove of Morris at the mound, and the throw to first thereafter by Simpson is not in time. Chandler Simpson was charging in as if to make the play, but Cade Morris thought he had it and ended up being played over at first, not in time. So that is going to be a hit, not an error on the play. So the first hit of the ball game comes in the top of the 3rd inning, and it's Cole Harding, who on the season, again, has only been batting .160, but not the cleanest bit of contact, a play that perhaps could have been made if Morris had not played it.
Yes.
But you take what you can get here with the way the game's been going so far.
And the season at that for Harwich.
As Goodwin hits one on the ground, left side, right over to Karros. He'll throw it across diamond, and that'll clean up the inning rather nicely for Cotuit. Cole Harding does get on with a 2-out single, but thereafter on one pitch, Nick Goodwin grounds out to the third baseman in Karros. We head now to the bottom of the 3rd inning, still scoreless. The Mariners get the first hit of the game, but nothing comes of it. Nothing here from Cotuit. We'll be back on the other side. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. It's going to be the 7, 8, 9 batters for Cotuit due up. Ryan Ritter, Kyle Karros, and C.J. Kafis. The 3 Kettleers all due up in this inning. As back on the mound, his 3rd inning of work, Sean Sullivan. Cade Morris has been solid so far for Cotuit, and so is Sullivan here for Harwich. He's faced 6 through 2 innings, and he gets a big swing and a miss on an 86-mile-an-hour pitch over the plate to Ryan Ritter. Sullivan stares in, kicks, and delivers. That'll be hit on the ground, left side to Hopper into the glove of Wilkin. Cross diamond, on to first in time, 1 away.
Yeah, Brock is so clean over at third base. His throws are always so strong and accurate. It's all about the fielding. I think we've only seen one mix-up from Brock, and it was on a slow roller that he was unable to make a play on. But other than that, anything that's come his way, he has had an answer to.
It's Kyle Karros now, the 3rd baseman here for the Kettleers, up to bat as Sullivan tries to retire his 8th straight batter coming up in a moment here. Karros takes the first pitch in for a called strike, and the count here opens at 0-1. Karros out of UCLA so far this season, batting .200, 3 for 15 with 2 runs, 4 strikeouts, and 4 walks. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Chopped foul. That'll head back toward the sheds here. That'll hit a shed, and a couple of fans on the ground wrestling for it. Looks like the fellow in the blue hat comes away with it. And the count here is 0-2. Wherever you go across the Cape, it's a wrestling match for these foul balls, I tell you. The 0-2 pitch is going to be pushed out to right field. Charging in at it is Tommy Seidel. He'll get there with plenty of time, and there's now 2 away here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Yeah, and just like that, we keep on keeping on. Sean Sullivan, we said that through 2 2/3, that Morris had thrown just 28 or 29 pitches, I forget exactly, but Sullivan just 23 through 2 2/3.
It's been exceptionally impressive stuff as the first pitch is pushed over to Brock Wilkin to C.J. Kafis. He'll make the throw onto first, right over to Joe Vetrano, and that is 3 complete innings now already. This game started at about 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It is now 5:30. We have been averaging about a half inning every 5 minutes. This is rather unbelievable. Now that I've said it, I'm not quite sure how long this trend will last, but at least to open up this game, it's been remarkable to say the least, as Sean Sullivan working on his longest outing of the season so far, now at 3 innings. We'll be back on the other side of the break. It's still 0-0 from Lowell Park. You were listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back inside Lowell Park. Tim Foley and Devin Dopick along with you. I'm not sure if everybody's got plans after the game, but I think the ball players might, and so this one's been moving along. Nonetheless, for play-by-play duties for the next 3 innings, my broadcast partner, Devin Dopick. Devin.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, I was actually looking at Red Sox tickets, see if I could get to Cleveland for the 7 o'clock game.
You might have time.
I know. Maybe jump on a flight at the airport. And nonetheless, here we are. Tommy Seidel set to lead things off for Harwich. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. One of 3 victims for Cade Morris as he bounces this one in the left-hand batter's box for ball 1. Brock Wilkin on deck, followed by Joe Vetrano due up in the inning. Just 1 hit in the ball game, and it came on an infield single from Cole Harding that very well could have been an error, as this one chopped over to third, fielded in foul territory by Karros, and would have been a close play at first base regardless, but umpire Mark Delaney with a good judgment call there, and it's a ball and a strike now.
Yeah, that was right along that line, and it was a close play over at first. I could have seen that easily going either way, so it could have been an inning-changing development there had that been ruled fair, but nonetheless, Seidel will step back in.
Trying to keep his every game on base streak alive. He loves having good long at bats and really battling against pitchers, and that's what we got out of our interview with him a couple days ago, as this one gets by the catcher and McNiss all the way to the backstop for ball 2. As Harwich bat boy going to win that one.
A couple of times now already in this inning that Morris has struggled to find the catcher in McNiss.
2 balls and a strike to the Alabama Crimson Tide product, and he lifts this one foul off into the woods. That one likely gone, and it's evened up at 2. 94 on that pitch from Cade Morris.
Yeah, and he's going to be trying to mix it up a lot more here. Second time through the lineup now. Pretty quickly you get through the lineup already once, but now this is a Harwich lineup that we'll see what they're able to do after getting their second looks at a pitcher.
36th pitch from Morris coming in. Seidel lines this one into center field for a base hit. Leadoff single for Harwich, the second hit of the ball game, and they are in business here with nobody down.
So important for Harwich to be able to get off to a good start in an inning. I mean, obviously already 0 for 3 here today when you look at what they've been able to do in the leadoff spot. But generally on the season, when you look at their leadoff stats, batting 157. So to get that leadoff hit, huge here for the Mariners.
And it is Tommy Seidel. He pushes his on-base streak. He's started all but 2 games. It's now at 9 here in game 11. As they take a look over at him, he also leads the ball club in stolen bases with 3. He's been caught once, 75% on the season. We'll see how aggressive Coach Englert decides to be.
And that would be huge here with a guy in Brock Wilken up to bat. If you're able to get Seidel up an extra base, then a base hit from either Wilken or Vetrano behind him. Do a lot of damage here. I mean, just to keep doubling down as the first pitch to Wilken was in for a called strike on this whole importance of being able to get on first with the leadoff man. Harwich, once they do get runners on, they're batting .275. But it's this leadoff spot that's really been hurting them this season.
Breaking ball misses. There goes the runner, and Seidel, a delayed steal. Did he get under the tag? Yes! Coming in was Chandler Simpson on a delayed steal. He had to get in a foot race to the bag with Seidel, and I don't know how Seidel got in there safely, but he did. Must have been just under the tag of Simpson. That is a tough call to make if you're an umpire when the ball beats the runner and they still don't get the out.
Yeah, the throw just got over to Simpson, who was still making his way to the bag. Seidel, just such great speed. He was able to get down there. Close as you put it, Devin, but really impressive. And just as we've talked about, so important now that Seidel's been able to make it up to second.
He dances off second, and the pitch to Wilken is chopped foul. He's down on the count. 1 and 2.
And, if Harwich is able to capitalize here, it would be only the second time this season they've managed to score first. It's really unfamiliar territory. What they're trying to do right now would be so huge to be able to get Seidel across in this inning. How many times have we seen it where the Mariners have left guys on after getting on base with nobody out?
Yeah, it's just been one of those years as Wilken grounds this one over to Simpson at second. He boots it, foot race to first. The throw pulls him off the bag. Everybody's going to be safe. Runners at the corners. Seidel moves over to third. And Chandler Simpson just in his own head as he boots it and then has time to make the play. And the throw goes wide. And that will be the first error of the ball game.
Yeah, he sort of just left it on the ground in front of him, cut it down with the glove, but didn't keep it with him. I think he rushed himself on the throw thereafter. It looked like he still had some time to make that throw. Brock Wilken, not the fastest guy out there, but he rushed it, pulled Kafis off the bag, and things are looking dangerous here for Harwich as they're trying to scratch a run across here and score first for just the second time this season.
Joe Vetrano, the batter, with runners on the corners and nobody away. First pitch, he fouls off to the left, and Tim, it looked like Brock had kind of chalked that up as a sacrifice ground out over to second. I mean, he had his head down, wasn't running full speed, and by the time he looked back up again, he was safe at first base.
Yeah, and I mean, you take it either way if you're Harwich, but it's just an added bonus now that your man's safe on first and you have no outs. You're still happy with Seidel on third and 1 away.
Vetrano grounds this one over to first. They go to second for 1, but nobody covering first in time. It'll be a fielder's choice RBI for Joe Vetrano, and the Mariners are on the board first for the second time this season. It's 1-0.
Well, how huge is that for Harwich? You're finally able to get a run across first in a game. It's been so long since you've been able to do so. And if you're Cotuit, you're scratching your head a bit because it felt like that could have been 2. That ball got over to C.J. Kafis quickly enough where he was able to make the throw down to second with plenty of time, but just for nobody to be covering over on first base and allow Vetrano to stay safe on first makes this inning potentially last a lot longer here for Harwich.
Batter is Ryan Mccarty. He watches strike 1 down the middle, and a Cotuit team that's been so sound all season, Tim, to say the least. I mean, they have not lost a game. They've only had a tie, which by surprise was to Falmouth, who is the only team worse than Harwich at the moment. 0-1 as that's fought off to the right, and now quickly in the hole is Ryan Mccarty, 0-2.
Yeah, but I think it's still a testament to the skill and ability of this Cotuit team. That was a game in which they really did not play a lot of clean baseball, so for them to have still gotten a tie out of it, impressive to say the least. as to what this Cotuit team can do.
0-2, Wilkin on first with 1 out. The pitch chopped over to third base. It's fielded. They go to second for 1. On to first, not in time. Ryan Mccarty in there safely. It'll be another fielder's choice. And now we add an out and switch the runner. But 2 outs for Chase Engelhard, who grounded out to third in his first AB back in the second.
Kind of feels like you're going nowhere if you're Harwich. You're just swapping batters over on first base, but even still, you're getting a valuable inning here where you already got one across at Tommy Seidel, and you're now working Cade Morris more than he's worked all ball game. I mean, he came into this inning with probably in the mid-20s in pitches, but right now he's up to 44.
As this one is lifted into shallow center, giving chase, but not going to get there is Ryan Ritter. The ball is down. Advancing over to third is Ryan Mccarty, and it's going to be a 2-out single for Chase Engelhard.
Yeah, some great running there from Mccarty to leg it out all the way over to third base. Was headed out pretty quickly off the pitch, and so now with Engelhard also on first, the Mariners really threatening here as they continue to just pass the baton. This is something we have not seen a whole lot of this season, where even with 2 outs, they still just find ways to power through, get on base, and now I think you still have to be looking for more than 1 run here. Yes, you're doing a good job disrupting Morris on the mound, but you have not really been able to capitalize and break through when you've been able to push a pitcher the way that Harwich has on Morris right now.
And a guy who was ever due in Jake Geloff coming up to the plate, got just under one and lifted out to center back in the third inning. First pitch is bounced in the dirt, runners stay, and it's 1-0.
Yeah, what a time to break out this would be. Chance for an RBI, go up 2 runs against this Cotuit team that is a good hitting team. You have to expect that they're going to bring the bats. You cannot be content with a 1-run lead.
1-0. Lazy swing there from Geloff. I think he tried to pull it back, but it wasn't in time, and it's 1-1. Geloff hitting just .066 on the season. That's 1 for 15, 1 for 16 now after his first at-bat, after a great campaign hitting .375 last season in Virginia. 1-1. It's a dirt ball read. There goes Engelhard, no throw, as he gets into second safely, and now it's second and third for Geloff with 2 away.
Yeah, really nice read from Engelhard. Understood that even though the ball was right in front of the catcher in Mickness, he still had enough time to be able to make his way down to that second base bag. Puts even more pressure now on Morris and makes this inning all that more interesting.
Geloff up in the count, 2-1. Hitters count, as time is going to be called and granted by Mark Delaney. Yeah, and Morris, a guy who hasn't had to face too much adversity thus far. And 2-1. Geloff lifts this one out to deep right field. Giving chase is Baldwin, and he's got it for out number 3. Allowed out number 3. Geloff just misses that one, and the side is retired. The Mariners strike for 1. But they leave 2 on. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Sean Sullivan coming back out for inning number 4 of work. We'll be right back on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back. Mariners up 1-0 after a Tommy Seidel run. And Sean Sullivan out for inning number 4. Opposite him is Chandler Simpson. And what a year he has had. Hitting .529 coming into today. First pitch misses outside for ball 1.
Yeah, unbelievable. Doesn't qualify across the league. You need to have a minimum of 2.7 at-bats per team game played, but even still, very impressive.
This one lined into left field for a base hit. The first time Sean Sullivan has been broke. Beautiful piece of hitting from Simpson, and he's on with nobody away.
Yeah, Simpson, really nice piece of contact. Just pushes that one the other way, out into left field, able to get it to drop, and showing everybody why he's currently batting over 500. He's able to make adjustments as he struck out looking the first time to Sullivan, but second time around looked real smooth up in that batter's box.
Victor Scott will climb in. He grounded out to second back in the first inning. Shows bunt here and does a drag bunt down to first base. Sullivan fields and flips on to first. They get the 1. Simpson down to second safely. And we're going to see a lot of small ball from Cotuit. They're a team that loves to bunt, steal bases. That's just how they play the game, and we see a little bit of it there in the 4th inning.
Oh, yes, we are going to see a lot of this today. Do not be surprised if you see a great number of stolen bases here today. Cotuit on the season, 31 stolen bases on the season. It's just unbelievable what they've been able to do as an entire team, having guys swipe bases so far this year.
Yeah, and Brooks Baldwin, the batter now, he leads the Cape Cod Baseball League with 8 of them. So a guy that can hit for power in the middle of the lineup and also swipe backs. Very versatile. First pitch to him misses down low for ball 1. 81 miles an hour on that pitch from Sullivan.
Brooks Baldwin tied with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks in stolen bases and ahead of each the Orleans Firebirds, Harwich Mariners, and Wareham Gatemen in stolen bases.
This one grounded over to third. It gets by both the infielders, rounding third, and coming home is Simpson. The throw will not be cut off. It goes all the way to the backstop, and that'll be a free base. 1-1, the score is tied, and Baldwin down to second after Mccarty sailed one to the backstop.
Yeah, it's a really nice read from Chandler Simpson. Comes around third, does not hesitate whatsoever, and all he had to do was hope that Ryan Mccarty would not be able to throw a dime over to home, and he did airmail it a little bit, and so it slid all the way back. Easy run across for the Kettleers as they continue to come here in this bottom of the 4th inning.
And they were bound to break through sometime. A team that has no problem scoring runs. They tie it up here just as quickly as Harwich got the lead. And the first pitch now to the cleanup hitter, Cade Kern, misses up and away for ball 1. Baldwin on second. Base hit almost automatically scores him with his speed. As this is lifted high off to the right, but foul and out of play. It's a ball and a strike. 3 hits for the Mariners, 2 for the Kettleers, but they are still not done. 1 out in the 4th inning. Sean Sullivan facing the first adversity he's had in the ball game. As this pitch is chopped but foul just behind home plate. And it's 1-2. And Tim, we were talking about it a little bit during warm-ups, but we see Sullivan get all the way up to 89 there, maybe even the low 90s at time, and then he can dip all the way down to 69. So his off-speed stuff has got to throw hitters off.
Yeah, really impressive whenever you can have a pitcher who can pull the string like that. Such a difference of over 20 miles an hour on your high end to low end. Really impressive and really tough to read.
2 balls and 2 strikes. 80 on that one, so he splits the difference. 1 down here for Kern. Carter Trice on deck. 2-2. Swung on and miss. Sullivan gets him swinging. His second strikeout of the ball game, and there's 2 away now.
Important for Sullivan to be able to come back like that after allowing a couple of hits in the inning, giving up some contact, the single, the sac, bunt, and then another single. Comes out, strikes out the next batter after giving up the single to Brooks Baldwin, and now he's in charge of helping sit down Carter Trice to try to keep this a tie game going into the fifth.
First pitch to Trice is fouled off to the right for strike one, or maybe is there room to make the play? It sounds like it might have fell foul. That's in our blind spot down the right field line. It seemed like Tommy Seidel had a chance to make it from the crowd's reaction, but it falls down and it's 0-1.
Yeah, from what it sounds like, it seems like perhaps he could have come down with it. I think there's a good deal of space down that foul line over along the right field side, and so Seidel close, but not able to get there.
And the 0-1. This is popped up and off to the right. It's quickly 0-2. Trice hit that bomb into the gap that was taken away. Would have been extra bases, but Ryan Mccarty had other ideas. And yeah, just looking at him now, he is like lined up with Nick Goodwin at shortstop as far as where he is in left field.
Yeah, a lot of space down that left field line.
0-2. Swung on and missed. Sullivan gets him, and he's out of the jam. He minimizes the damage to one. Back-to-back strikeouts to strand Baldwin at second. We'll take a quick break. Mariners coming back up for the top of the fifth. We'll be right back on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Eight, 9 top for the Harwich Mariners will be Matt Gassetti, Cole Harding, and Nick Goodwin due up. Gassetti grounded out to third back in the third inning, and he's got another opportunity against Morris here. Mariners got a run in the fourth inning, but that was quickly negated by Simpson coming booking around home on a Baldwin single in the bottom half of the fourth. It's a ball and no strikes to the Florida Gator in Gassetti doing the catching tonight. Breaking ball then misses off the outer part of the plate, and it's 2-0.
Yeah, rare enough is it that we see Harwich out in front as of late across the past few games, but even when they manage to tie it, it usually is followed by opposing runs.
Fastball 93 on the outside corner of the plate makes it 2-1.
It's just so important. You can't really understate the value, or you can't overstate the value of being able to maintain a lead.
Gassetti chops this one over to shortstop. Ritter boots it. That is going to be the second error of the ball game charged to the Cotuit Kettleers. And now the Mariners have a runner on, and Matt Gassetti with nobody away.
You take it if you're Harwich. Again, similar to Cole Harding's hit. Not that much came of it, but you take it how you can get it. Harwich, one way or another, you want to try to get all of your bats going, and so just getting guys on base like this is really important.
And now the batter is Cole Harding, and when there's multiple errors recorded against the Mariners, they are 2-1. So half their wins have come when multiple errors have been committed. And actually, every time there has been an error committed, it's come in bunches. There's never been a time when the opponent has put up one error on the Mariners. This one grounded over to shortstop. They go to second for one, on to first, 6-4-3. And they take out the mistake that was committed by Ritter. There's now 2 away here for the top of the order.
Yeah, well, that's how you clean it up if you are Cotuit. They've been solid so far defensively. .981 fielding percentage on the season. Of course, the 2 errors here today, as we've noted, but to be able to come back and field a double play like that to help out your pitcher in Morris after allowing the first guy to get on, that's really important.
Nick Goodwin watches ball 1 in the dirt, 94 on that pitch from Cade Morris. Goodwin, 3rd at bat today. He has struck out and grounded out to 3rd. As this one is in there for a strike to him. Ball and a strike now to Nick. He has not had a base hit in the last 3 games he's played, looking to snap that streak here today, and 4 of the last 5 at that matter. Last hit was in Game 1 against Hyannis, the walk-off home run, a day in which he went 1 for 4. So, someone who started at the top of the Cape Cod Baseball League in hitting has really plummeted. And he lines this one on cue into left field for a base hit. Down the line, he'll take a turn and head into second. Here comes the throw. Not in time. He slides head first, and it'll be a 2-out double for the leadoff hitter, Nick Goodwin.
Yeah, he had been cooling off a little bit. He was still finding ways to get on base. Just 1 game this season, he managed to not get on base for the Mariners. That was the game against Orleans in which he went 0 for 4. But other than that, he's been exceptionally solid here for Harwich, and so it's good to see him getting back in the hit column, able to line one down that left field line.
Maybe he got a little angry and heard me as he roped that pitch down the left field line.
We're not terribly far from home plate.
Tommy Seidel will climb in and watches ball 1 outside. Tommy has punched out tonight and also singled, stolen a base, and scored back in the 4th. He's the 1 Harwich run of the ball game, and he's got a chance for an RBI here with Nick Goodwin on second. 1-0. At the knees, fastball at 93, and that evens up the count at 1. And now if Harwich wants to find a way to win this game against a very solid and bulletproof Cotuit team thus far in the season, they got to capitalize on these opportunities. They have really struggled at driving in runners with scoring position and 2 out. As this one check swing, no he did not, says the first base umpire, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, they've only been batting .152 on the season when having runners in scoring position with 2 outs, so not all that grand. But a base hit here would go a long way to be able to jump back out in front and try to maintain this lead, but not only this mental edge over Cotuit if you can jump back out in front.
2 balls and a strike now. 4-year man out of Harvard, transferred to Alabama this past season. And here comes the 2-1. Grounded over to third base. It is fielded and thrown over by Karros. Nice job at the hot corner. That one came up on him quick, but he was able to recover and record the out. So the Mariners threaten, but they strand Nick Goodwin at second. We head to the bottom of the 5th, halfway through this one, and spend just 58 minutes. We'll be right back on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. It'll be 6-7-8 due up for the Cavaliers. Sean Sullivan back out there for his 5th inning of work. He's allowed just 2 hits and the 1 earned run here today. Justin McNiss, the catcher, lined out to Nick Goodwin at shortstop. A sensational grab he made on a sinking liner up the middle, full extension as Tim put it, and that was a huge out, number 3. The 2-0. Misses inside, and now Sullivan way behind in the count to the lefty, 3-0.
Yeah, really nice to see Goodwin shining at that diving play he was able to make. Does have 3 errors over at short this season. We know he's traditionally a shortstop, but it's been a bit of a tough start for him this year.
Yeah, and we've seen Coach Engler try and mix it up. We've seen Danny Corona over at short at times, but Goodwin, he loves his bat in the leadoff spot, and he's been leaving him at shortstop as Sullivan battles back, 89 on that fastball, and it's 3-2, excuse me. Sullivan shakes off the first pitch, and now he's in his windup. This one is lined but foul down the left field side, and we'll do it again at 3-2.
And I saw the Mariners coaching staff before that last pitch signaling to the outfield to perhaps come in a bit, shift over, I think, a bit more to the right, try to play the batter and Mcniss as more of a pull hitter.
As another payoff pitch is chopped foul, this time to the right, and we'll do it a 3rd time at 3-2. Sullivan trying to win the battle here. Choked up on the bat is Mcniss, and the pitch struck him out looking. Mcniss thought it was inside, but it catches the corner, and it'll be another strikeout. The 3rd consecutive batter to be retired by way of the K, and 4th of the ball game for Sean Sullivan, really settling in here in his first start, Tim.
That's how you bounce back if you're Sean Sullivan. Had a shaky start to that 4th inning where Cotuit was able to play their brand of baseball on you, but he's come out here and already another big swing and a miss from Ryan Ritter.
No balls and a strike. Yeah, that swing took him all the way over to the other batter's box. Out of his shoes on that one. Ritter grounded out to Brock Wilkin at 3rd. That was back in the 3rd inning. And he swings at this pitch. Might have got a piece of the dirt, fooled him. And it's 0-2 quickly.
Yeah, really nice off-speed pitch. Able to get Ritter out well ahead of that one.
47th pitch of the outing for Sean Sullivan coming in, and it misses away. A ball and 2 strikes.
Changes him up with the velocity this time. 90 miles an hour, misses outside.
1-2. That one down in the dirt, similar to that 2nd pitch we saw him swing and miss on.
He goes right back down to 82, really changing that velocity he's showing every single pitch.
And this one is chopped foul, so we'll stay at 2-2. Ritter on the season batting .371 with a pair of homers and 8 runs batted in. He's batting 7th in the lineup for Cotuit. Might make you scratch your head the way he's been swinging it compared to some of the other guys in the middle of the order. A Kentucky Wildcat. As count has worked full here. Sullivan, another payoff pitch coming. And Ritter convinced he didn't swing at it. He'll get a walk to first base. No appeal from Cassetti. That was pretty cool. He pleaded with the umpires if he had swung, but he'll get a free trip to first base. The first walk that we've seen issued in the ballgame.
All I heard from Ryan Ritter there was, no, 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 no. He was exceptionally certain that he did not swing at that one, and so, as you put it, Devin, not even an appeal, heads down to first base.
Pretty funny to be sitting in this part of the ballpark where you can pick up on stuff like that. As first pitch to the 8th hitter, and Kyle Karros is cut on and missed for strike 1.
Yeah, Lowell Park, rather beautiful ballpark here in Cotuit. They always draw a great crowd, a great atmosphere to be here for a ball game, for sure.
As 0-1 is fouled off into the woods behind us, and it's 0-2. As you mentioned, Tim, a great crowd. Both grandstands pretty much packed full, as the eye can see, and then fans littered throughout the concourse watching through the gated fence. As Sullivan takes a look over at the runner in Ritter, he's back safely.
An interesting feature here, too, at Lowell Park. You get the bullpen out in left field for Cotuit. It's pretty set back, so you're actually able to get fans in front of the bullpen.
0-2 is lifted foul off to the right, and we'll sit there at 0-2. And yeah, that bullpen, they're like elevated, the bench that they're on. You can see them over the fence.
It's got to be a nice view for a reliever. Catch the ball game.
And in the shade. Stay cool when it gets hot in the summer, although pitchers typically want to stay warm, keep their arm loose, so I guess that goes both ways. I've had coaches that would make us wear long sleeves in the summer just to have something on that arm. 0-2. Cut on and missed. Sean Sullivan, second strikeout of the inning. He's punched out 4 of the last 5. This time Kyle Karros goes down swinging, and there's 2 away.
There's another really nice pitch. Sean Sullivan, his sequencing has been great so far, and he's able to get another guy to go down swinging here. Really impressive that we have seen Sean Sullivan bounce back the way he has after we act like he's had a rough start as a big swing and a miss from C.J. Kafis to open up the at-bat. He retired the first 9. It was just a little shaky opening to the 4th inning that allowed a run, but since then he's settled right back into the groove that he's had across his first 3 innings.
As he's quickly up 0-2 on the batter in Kafis. And yeah, Sullivan, no stranger to going deep in outings. His career high is 7 2/3 against Michigan State, in which he threw 109 pitches. And then he's also punched out 11 back on April 1st against Indiana. 0-2. This one is chopped over to third. Wilkin scoops it, fires on the first. A nice play by the former MVP, Brock Wilkin, to end the inning. We head to the 6th. Mariners and Kettleers knotted up at 1. We'll take a quick break and come back on the other side on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back. It'll be 3-4-5 due up for the Harwich Mariners. Brock Wilkins set to lead things off. He has struck out looking today and also reached on an error in which he was put out by a Joe Vetrano fielder's choice. Wilkin, he's got 1 Brockett on the season, as it's known around these parts. And he watches strike 1 on the up and away corner. Cade Morris back out there for inning number 6. Still no decision as this game is knotted up. And the Mariners, we've noted it in the break, but just to touch on it, as the 1-0 misses downstairs, it's 2-1, excuse me. They have not been as patient as they typically have been, Tim. Just 1 walk over the course of the past 2 games.
Yeah, 29 on the season as a lineup. That's worst in the Cape Cod Baseball League in regards to drawing walks.
As Brock Wilkin cuts through that one, and it's, I guess, 1-2. Scoreboard malfunctioning just a touch, so my apologies. But yeah, just no walks in the loss to Orleans, and then just one against Wareham. And the 1-2 pitch. Brock, kind of funky spin on that as it goes foul, and we'll do it again.
And you'd think that they're striking out at an unbelievable clip, should that be the case, but they're actually tied for 5th in the league in regards to strikeouts right now at 90. So they're about middle of the road. We've seen just a lot of contact. They've been hitting at defenses all season long. A lot of ground balls, a lot of flyouts, and a lot of nice defensive plays against them.
Wilkin chops this one off to the right, and we stay at 1-2. 95 on that pitch from Morris, and to have the velocity at its peak in your 6th inning of work is got to be pretty impressive.
Certainly so.
He's thrown just 67 pitches thus far. And the 1-2 to Wilkin. Breaking ball, didn't break. And it'll be 2-2.
I think we're yet to see triple digits out of anybody so far this summer. There's usually 1 or 2 flamethrowers, but I'm yet to see anybody. Perhaps there's been one, but I haven't heard of it.
2-2 pitch. That one came up and in and almost got a piece of Brock at 3-2. Another 95 on that one. Morris really trying to dig deep. Everybody wants to strike out the reigning MVP and Brock Wilkin. He's already got him once. That was by looking. He wants him to cut on and miss this pitch, though. 3-2. Downstairs, he walked him as if on cue. I talked about Nick Goodwin not having a hit in a few games. He gets a hit. Brock Wilkin, we've only had 1 walk in the last 2 games. He gets on with a leadoff walk, so there we go.
Can you talk about how I've never won the lottery in my lifetime, Devin? That'd be doing me a solid.
Because you haven't spoken it into existence on the broadcast, I guess. I mean, I don't know. We're manifesting a lot here, it appears. Maybe we'll talk about how the Mariners would really use a win. That would be great. They could really use a win. As first pitch to Joe Vetrano misses downstairs, it's 1-0.
Well, certainly so. You don't want to fall to 0-4. Already so close to the basement of the East Division right now. You're just barely ahead of Chatham as it stands.
And that pitch is in there at the knees to Vetrano. It's 1-1.
And the standings right now, just to give the folks at home a look, Orleans atop the East at 11 points, 5-4-1. Then you have YD and Brewster tied at 10 points. Harwich in 4th at 8 points, and Chatham in 5th at 7 points. Both Chatham and Harwich on 3-game skids.
This one gets through the legs of the catcher. The throw down to get Brock, and they're going to get him by a mile. Brock thought he was doing his due diligence with a dirt ball read, but just not in time. A nice throw from Mickness, and they take out the trash for out number 1.
And I think you have to look back at Joe Vetrano on this one. As the ball was caught in the dirt and as Mickness was looking for it, Joe Vetrano was waving fervently at Brock Wilkin to head down to second base. And so we talked a bit about miscommunications for the Mariners. That was more of a misread. The message was communicated clearly for Wilkin to try to take second, but just a tough read for Vetrano at home, and it costs Harwich an out and a base runner.
Joe on the day has grounded out to first and reached on a fielder's choice, but 0 for 2 as it stands, 2-2, and yeah, communication's just really been a struggle for Harwich as they'll ring him up there. A beautiful pitch from Morris, 94 on the inside corner at the knees. Paint right there, and there's quickly 2 away now.
As well as Morris has been doing, surprisingly enough, that's his first strikeout since he struck out the side back in the 1st inning.
And we kind of knew, I think I jinxed it then as well pregame, that he was going to be a pitch-to-contact guy. And then, of course, he struck out the side, but then he goes 4 complete innings without a strikeout before picking up that last one of Vetrano, and it was looking. As it's 1-0 now to the hitter in Ryan Mccarty. He's flied out to left and reached on a fielder's choice. 0 for 2, and he lines this one right at the first baseman, C.J. Kafis, who was really locked into the game, and thank God, or else he might have had a concussion. A nice catch there to end the inning. We head to the home half of the 6th. Cotuit trying to take the lead back here at their home, Lowell Park. We'll be right back on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back. Devin Doback, Tim Foley set to bring you the home half of the sixth. It'll be the top of the order, starting off with Chandler Simpson. He watches ball one, right in on the chin there. Victor Scott on deck and Brooks Baldwin in the hole. That is who is due up for the Kettleers. 1-0, he drops down a bunt. It's going to get by Sullivan, and he is going to be safe. Talk about baseball IQ from Chandler Simpson. A beautiful drag bunt, and he is on with a leadoff infield single.
He placed that perfectly out of the range of Sean Sullivan and anticipated the shift as well from Chase Engelhard. Engelhard a little closer toward first, playing the batter and Simpson like a pull hitter, shifted more to the right, and so right closer toward where Engelhard would traditionally be as a second baseman. Just a perfectly placed bunt.
He's now got 2 of the 3 hits, as Sullivan almost caught him leaning there. 2 of the 3 hits have been credited to Chandler Simpson. He's also scored the only run for the Kettleers, a pest on the base paths. Victor Scott, the second, will try and move him over. As that one inside, and it's 1-0.
Not sure how that didn't even hit him. That was high and tight.
Nobody away here in the bottom of the 6th. All knotted up at 1 here in Cotuit, Massachusetts, as the pitch is in there for a strike, and we're all evened up at 1. One ball and a strike as Scott tries to get something going. Sullivan takes another look over at first base. Simpson back in there without a dive.
And this is really how that fourth started for Cotuit. Got Simpson on the first man, and they were able to roll from there, so you have to see if Sullivan's able to stay settled.
This is grounded over to second. Engelhard boots it, but he'll be able to go to first and get the 1. A close play. Engelhard a little too close for comfort. That ball at first base. It'll be another sacrifice. Second time Scott has been able to move Simpson over to second. And there's now 1 away.
Yeah, obviously the intention there was to be able to get the runner at second if Engelhard doesn't bobble that ball, and ideally perhaps turn a double play, but with how fast Victor Scott was down that line, that could have probably only just been 1 if you're Harwich, so you're grateful you're still able to get the 1 out, as Scott was already so close.
They dropped down another bump, but this one leaks foul off the bat of Baldwin. Had it stayed fair, would have easily been runners at the corners with 1 away. And yeah, I think Engelhard just tried to turn it before he even had it, and nonetheless, he's lucky to get the 1. Cotuit will take the trade-off as well, all things considered. They get their runner over to second, a speedy one at that in Simpson. And kind of a mirror situation to what we saw in the 4th inning when Baldwin hit a single into left and was able to drive in Simpson from second. He's got an opportunity here with 1 away. And the 0-1. This one is fouled off back to the chain gate, and it's 0-2 now. Huge at bat for Sullivan.
Yeah, with the way that Cotuit plays, you really do not want to give them anything. No kind of wild pitch, because they'll turn 1 free base into potentially more, so much more. They're just able to really capitalize on every last little thing that the team gives them.
0-2 coming from Sean Sullivan. And it's punched off to the right. And we'll stay at 0-2. And 3rd time through the order now for Sullivan. These Cotuit hitters have had a look at him. He's allowed just the 3 hits. But his stuff obviously not as fresh, and Cotuit with a better understanding of what's coming. So we'll see how deep he can go as the 0-2 is in there on the inside corner. Baldwin hated the call, but Sean Sullivan picks up another strikeout, his 6th of the ball game, and there's 2 away.
Yeah, that's about as low and tight as you can get. And Mike Roberts letting him hear it right now, talking to Mark Delaney behind home plate as he's exchanging some words, looking rather upset with home plate umpire Delaney on that last call. Looked like it got Baldwin right low and inside, jammed him up pretty tight. and of course, Roberts rather going to let him hear it, as the two of them still jawing, or rather, that's a one-sided conversation if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. Still going at him. Coach Roberts, a guy who does not like to lose, as I guess that's proved early on in the season. Still yelling, and Delaney's going to have a word with him.
Yeah, as Delaney heading over there, thought it made a similar sort of call out to Delaney over behind home plate.
I think that's a formal warning.
I would say so.
One more comment from Roberts, and he will be out of here. It's kind of turning into a reality TV show. A lot of drama now here at Lowell Park. Coach Roberts really not thrilled. But now he's got no choice but to be quiet as the formal warning's been issued. 1-0 pitch. That one in there on the outside corner, and it's 1-1. Cade Kern, the batter, he's flied out to center and struck out swinging. There goes the runner. They're not even going to take a try. It's in there for strike 2.
Yeah, I like the idea there if you're Harwich. Obviously, with the speed of Simpson, going to be very difficult to make the throw down to third, especially with a righty in the box in Cade Kern. There's more risk in trying to make that throw than there is potentially reward. And with there now 2 strikes in the count, I think that had to have played a factor into whether or not Cassetti was going to make that throw down. Just take care of matters on the mound with this next pitch.
1-2, lined, foul. It is spoiled, and we'll do it again. And I'm not sure I completely understand why Roberts is stealing Simpson with 2 outs. He's one of the faster guys on the team, so base hit, he is scoring without a doubt. I don't know why you'd take the risk. 1-2 pitch from Sullivan is grounded over to second. Engelhard fields it and fires on to first for out number 3. So the threat is nullified here. We head to the 7th inning. Starting the late innings here in Cotuit. We'll take a quick break on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Seventh inning of action, and the rest of the way, Tim Foley will bring you the action here in a 1-1 ball game. Tim.
Thanks so much, Devin. So, as mentioned, it's a 1-1 ball game. Both runs were scored back in the fourth inning. The Harwich Mariners were able to bring across Tommy Seidel on a ground ball hit by Joe Vetrano, in which he was able to get on base safely. And then it was Chandler Simpson who came home back in the fourth inning as he was driven around by Brooks Baldwin. So it is now the top of the seventh. Mariners are up to bat. It's a first pitch strike to the batter in Chase Engelhard. Engelhard on the day. He is 1 for 2. Got as far as second base after singling in the fourth inning, but he was left stranded. One of 2 Mariners left stranded in scoring position. Harwich has left 4 on today. Cotuit 3. This ball is going to be pushed over into shallow right field. In is Brooks Baldwin. He'll make the catch, and there's one away. There's a new pitcher on the mound here for the Cotuit Kettleers. It is Christian Little out of LSU, a Vanderbilt transfer. So far, well, this is his first appearance of the season, so far, nothing much to show. Did not play last season, but his numbers at Vanderbilt, this past season as the first pitch into the next batter in Jake Geloff misses for a ball at 77 miles an hour. A 3.27 ERA, 1-2 record in 18 appearances, only 3 starts, more of a bullpen guy. 3 saves across 38 2/3 innings pitched. Geloff fouls this one over into foul territory down the right field side, and a very similar play to how Chase Engelhard was retired. Another pop out to the right fielder in Brooks Baldwin, and very quickly there are 2 away in the top of the 7th inning.
Second time in the last 2 at-bats that Geloff has flied out to right, as our president of the Mariners, Mary Henderson, just joined us in the booth.
Always great to see Mary out at the ballpark, as it's Matt Gussetti who stands in now. The kick and deliver from Little. And Gussetti goes golfing for this one, gets a piece of it, sends it back to the backstop. It's an 0-1 count. And then Little, you look back at his freshman year too. Higher ERA, 5.48, so he's certainly improved across his time at Vanderbilt and is now making his way over to LSU. A nice off-speed pitch at 76 miles an hour froze Gussetti. Nothing he could do but watch that one cross over home plate. It's an 0-2 count.
Gotta protect if you're Gussetti here. Finally got on base back in the 5th inning.
0-2 is going to be chopped foul, as that one will head out of play. So, taking a look very quickly at the line for the pitcher in Cade Morris, pitched 6 complete innings, gave up 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned, walked a batter, and struck out 4. Here's the 0-2 pitch now from Christian Little. That'll be pulled out into left field. That's going to get down. A 2-out single for Matt Gussetti. A very nice piece of contact, barreled it up nicely, and with 2 strikes against him in the count, he was down 0-2. A really nice 0-2 hit there from Gussetti.
And his first of the season, second time he's been on base here tonight. Reached on an error back in the 5th, so nice job by Matt getting on with 2 outs, but will it be enough for the Mariners to help move him over?
And of note for Cade Morris, just an out shy of his longest outing of the season, as the first pitch to the batter in Cole Harding is fouled back out of play, and the count opens at 0-1. Longest outing of the season so far has been 6 1/3. That was against Hyannis. He picked up the win. Gave up 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned then as well. Walked 1 as well and struck out just 2 compared to the 4 here tonight. So a very similar stat line. You have to love consistency from your pitchers if you are Cotuit. It's an 0-1 count here to the batter in Cole Harding. 1 for 2 on the evening. Singled back in the 3rd inning. That was the first hit of the ball game as the 0-1 comes in at 90 miles an hour and misses. It's 0-1. His other at bat, Harding, hit into a 6-4-3 double play. Yes, it's a 1-1 count to him here. Man on first is Matt Gussetti. Little stares in and delivers. This one's going to be hit through the right side. That's going to get in for a base hit. Pulling up to second base is Matt Cassetti, thinking about third as it was briefly dropped by Brooks Baldwin, but by the time he thought he could go for it, there was no time. So he holds at second, and the Mariners, some nice two-out hitting here. A nice hit from Cassetti, pushes it out, or pulls it rather, out into left field, and then Cole Harding as well is able to get a nice piece of contact, drop it out into right field, and Mariners are in business here. Runners on, first and second, 2 away, with now Nick Goodwin up to bat, back to the top of the order. Doubled in his last at-bat. He's 1 for 3 with a strikeout on the day. Little stares in. First pitch to him. That'll drop below the strike zone, and the count opens at 1-0.
And the problem for Harwich is Matt Cassetti, one of your slower base runners, so just a base hit doesn't necessarily mean it's going to score him, as he barely got to second by the time the ball was fielded on the last at-bat. So really going to have to find a gap for this if you're Nick Goodwin and want to break this tie.
The 1-0 pitch, another off-speed pitch that just drops right at home plate, misses the strike zone at 74 miles an hour. It's a 2-0 count. Little trying to go to that off-speed to try to entice Goodwin to swing, but Goodwin disciplined so far here. He's done a nice job getting on base all season long. He's looking to do so again for the second time today. Little stares back at Cassetti on second and comes home. That'll be hit back up the middle. Charging in is Scott, but he's not going to get there. Cassetti's going to round third base. The play at the plate, not in time. Matt Cassetti slides in safe as the throw from Scott was short of Mickness at home, and the Mariners, after being tied coming into this 7th inning, are able to pull out in front here in the top half of the frame.
And wow, talk about situational baseball. 3 straight 2-out hits after it looked like Christian Little was going to motor through this lineup in half inning. They pieced together 3 straight hits from the 8, 9, and leadoff hitters. That's very impressive with 2 down. Nice job by the Mariner offense to get themselves the lead back.
As this now brings up Tommy Seidel, 1 for 3 on the day. He was the lone run for the Mariners prior to Cassetti coming home. He swings and misses at an 88-mile-an-hour fastball just outside, and so the count opens at 0-1. Seidel otherwise struck out swinging back in the first inning, part of that 1-2-3 strikeout of the side from Cade Morris to open the ball game, and he grounded out to third in his last at-bat back in the 5th inning. It's an 0-1 count to him here. Little stares back towards second base. Briefly stares toward home and now delivers. This one hit on the ground, left side, right at Ritter. Throw on to second for 1, and that is all they need. The inning ends, but the Mariners are able to grab the lead thanks to an RBI single from Nick Goodwin. 3 2-out singles have the Mariners in business. They lead it 2-1. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning here from Lowell Park. We'll be back with the Cotuit Bats in just a minute. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Welcome back inside Lowell Park. Tim Foley, Devin Dobick along with you as the Harwich Mariners have grabbed a 2-1 lead from the Cotuit Kettleers. It was 1-1 from the 4th inning through the 6th, but a single from Nick Goodwin to bring home Mccarty has Harwich back out in front as they once were in the top of the 4th inning. But can the Mariners now hold on to this 1-run lead that they find themselves with? Well, it's going to be up to Gage Zeal, who's now into the game out of the University of Miami, to try to lock down these Cotuit hitters. This pitch is going to be lined over toward left field. That's going to get down. Carter Trice on the second pitch he sees hits one over toward Ryan Mccarty that gets in, and it's going to be a leadoff single for the Kettleers.
And a much-needed one for them. Just the second hit that Gage Zeal has allowed this season. This will be his second appearance. Comes in at 1-0, picked up the win against the Hyannis Harborhawks in Game 1. He went 2 strong innings and punched out 4 with just 1 walk.
It was a really nice showing from him the first time around. Harwich is going to have to hope he's able to settle in a bit better after allowing this leadoff hit. And then a bunt shown, and looks like Justin Mickness is hit by a pitch, and he's going to go down to first base here after he was hit by that one. Showed bunt, and so he gets the base nonetheless. And now Cotuit very quickly with 2 on here and nobody away. Trice makes his way down to second, and Justin Mickness down to first.
And that was kind of interesting because he had tried to bunt, so obviously that alters how he's standing, and I think he got hit because of the fact that he was bunting. Kind of a weird sequence there, but Coach Englert definitely wants an explanation. Or actually, it's going to be a mound visit, I believe.
Yeah, he's going to talk with Zeal a bit here. Obviously not an ideal start here. Unfortunate on that bunt. I think you're right, Devin. Just the way his stance had come together in the bunt ended up sort of allowing him to get hit by the ball. Not that he was looking to draw contact, but it's just a matter of the fact that his stance was slightly different. While there's a conversation on the mound, let's take a look at the final line for Sean Sullivan, who had a very solid day here for Harwich. 6 full innings pitched, only allowed 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned, walked 1 batter, and struck out 6. Really impressive stuff from a guy who's come out in relief twice so far this season, but he is a starter naturally over at Northwestern this past season over in the Big Ten. And so no surprise truly to see him go deep, but the efficiency he had all afternoon was something that Harwich needed, Devin.
Yeah, and they've really been lacking in starting pitching. They lost Noah Dean and Herman Fajardo, who each had 2 losses before they were designated for assignment. And so to have a guy come in and give you the longest outing as a starter for the Mariners this season is huge. Previously, it had been 5.0 innings from Carlson Reed.
As first pitch comes in, that'll miss high, pick back to second, not in time. Carter Trice slides back in safely. Mccarty tries to keep him honest over at second base. It's a 1-0 count here to Ryan Ritter. Seen a couple of Mariners pitchers go 5. Yes, Carlson Reed in the only start in which a starter has picked up the win for Harwich, as the 1-0 is in for a called strike. Showing bunt was Ritter. Ends up being called a strike. It's 1-1 now. Jonathan Santucci also has gone 5 innings once this season. That was in Game 1 of the doubleheader against Hyannis. And then Billy Seidel at Orleans had a rough start, but ultimately had 5 solid innings. And so, but yes, as you've mentioned, as the 1-2 comes in for, or the 1-1 comes in for a called strike, I would certainly say the best start we've seen from a Mariners starter this season.
Yeah, he was, sensational. As that one on the outside corner, Coach Roberts is livid over on the third baseline. But Sean Sullivan really doing a nice job of, despite showing and offering bunt, finding corners and painting them.
Here's the 1-2. That'll be lined into right field. Caught by Tommy Seidel. Can they get him at second? Yes, they double him up. Tommy Seidel catches Ryan Ritter's line drive, and Carter Trice is caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Tries to go too far toward third. He's caught back out at second. Doubled up, double play. 9-6, count it. There's 2 away with a man on first here, as Harwich is trying to get out of the inning, holding on to this lead.
And talk about a turn of events when you think about the fact that Ritter was trying to drop a bunt. He gets 2 strikes on him, so that's out the window. And then he lines one out to right field. Everybody's cheering. Seidel comes in, steals it out of nowhere, and then fires for a huge double play. What a nice job there.
And Matt Gussetti lays down a very nice block on the first pitch into Kyle Karros, as Karros 0 for 2 on the day. The first pitch to him was well in the dirt, but Gussetti gets out in front of it, blocks it with the chest, the entire body, and keeps it in front of him, keeps Mickness over on first. The next pitch is in for a called strike in the count here, 1-1. But how about that? Have not seen all too many outfield assists so far this season, but for Seidel to be able to drive in at that ball, charged right at it, and then carried his momentum with him toward the bag. Very impressive play for Seidel. And perhaps the crowd here at Cotuit helping to sell it for Carter Trice. Everybody was cheering immediately. I think even us for a second, we perhaps thought that ball may have gotten down.
Oh, yes.
With the way that the crowd was jubilant here in Cotuit, but ended up being caught. Here's the 2-1 pitch. This one's going to be popped up. That's going to head out of play, and so it will land in foul territory. Drops by a couple of fans, and that's picked up by a young fellow in a black sweatshirt. He looks rather excited about it. It's a 2-2 count, 2 away here in the inning. Harwich, they are looking to maintain this lead. Failed to hold on to their lead back in the 4th inning when they jumped out 1-0. Very quickly gave up a run to Cotuit to make it a 1-1 game, but now here and out away from holding on to their lead. It's a 2-2 pitch. Skips in the dirt. Gussetti eats it, and it's now a 3-2 count.
Huge pitch coming up. You really don't want C.J. Kafis to come up, because that would mean if he is recorded as an out, then top of the order would be due up, or you'd get the top of the order up in this inning. Really don't want to dip into Simpson here until the next inning.
The 3-2 pitch. Swung on and foul tipped back into the mitt of Gussetti. He holds on. The Mariners, it looked bleak for a moment, but they're able to get out of the inning unscathed. A 2-1 lead for Harwich. We head to the top of the 8th inning. We'll be back on the other side. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth. Tim Foley, Devin Dobick along with you. The Harwich Mariners hold on to a 2-1 lead as we enter the top of the 8th inning. It's Brock Wilkin who leads it off here for the Mariners in this half inning of play. Well, Harwich, last inning, they had 3 hits. That really has only happened twice this season. Most recently for the Mariners, it actually happened last game in the 9th inning against the Gatemen back on Wednesday. Weren't able to fully come back. Did get a run after being down 3 in that 9th inning. Cut it down to a 2-run game, but ultimately fell to the Gatemen by a final of 5-3. It's a 1-1 count here to Brock Wilkin. And talk about the circumstances, too, with 2 outs in that last half inning. Here's the 1-1. That'll skip in the dirt, 2-1.
Brock is 0 for 2 on the day. He's struck out looking, grounded, on which an error was committed by Chandler Simpson, and also walked.
It's a 2-1 count. Christian Little back on the mound. It's his second inning of work. Stares in, rocks, and delivers. That's in there for a called strike. It's 2-2. A very clinical windup. The mechanics from Little, very tight. He's got very particular form up there on the mound when he's in the windup. Here's the 2-2. That'll miss down low, and it's 3-2 now. Really kicks that leg out straight, then brings it back in.
Vetrano on deck. Another guy who would love to get going here. Mariners need some insurance. You cannot trust this one-run lead, especially against an undefeated Cotuit squad. I mean, we saw the scare that happened last inning.
As the 3-2 hit right back up the middle, right past Little. That's going to be good for a base hit. Brock Wilken is on base with a leadoff single here for Harwich, as this brings up Joe Vetrano. He's gotten on once today, but is still looking for his first hit of the ball game.
Yeah, and that was by fielder's choice. So not even at the expense of no one. It was at the expense of someone else, as I believe Coach Roberts going to go to the pen here.
So Little, we'll see here. Yes, it looks as though he will go to the bullpen. We'll be back on the other side. Christian Little faces Brock Wilken, allows a leadoff single, and Coach Roberts says that's the day. So we'll head into a break. We will recap the day for Little. On the other side, we'll also introduce the new arm for the Kettleers. In the meantime, don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. We bring you back on the other side of the pitching change. So the new arm on the mound is going to be Will Jacobson, the junior out of Harvard, San Francisco, California native. So far, this is his third appearance on the season. He's got a 1-0 record across 3 2/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 3 hits, no runs, as Joe Vetrano watches a first pitch strike that he thought missed inside as he did a little shuffle back, but it caught the inside part of the strike zone, so says Mark Delaney, and the count opens at 0-1. No walks and 3 strikeouts as well to go on the record of Will Jacobson. So An 0-1 count to the batter in Vetrano. Here's the pitch. Vetrano lines this one deep to right center field. That's going to go back. That is gone! Joe Vetrano breaks through in a big way. A two-run shot out to right center field brings Brock Wilken home with him. It's 4-1 Harwich here in the top of the 8th inning as he welcomes Will Jacobson to the game.
And we talked about how good he looked in batting practice. He was hitting shots over the fence in batting practice and loving how they were looking. He finally connects there and lives up to his potential in a big way. This Cotuit team is now just 6 outs away from their first loss when they come up to bat, which is unprecedented territory for them.
As Ryan Mccarty cracks the first pitch he sees over to short, Ritter whips it onto first, but that's offline. C.J. Kafis had to come over toward the Mariner dugout to be able to make that catch. Ryan McCarty is safe on first. And so the Mariners are rolling here. First two got on. In fact, first two have come around already. And Ryan McCarty now is able to get on first on an error by the shortstop in Ritter.
And yeah, their third error of the ball game. We have seen 3 errors committed against Harwich. That was against Falmouth.
That was in the season opener.
Correct.
As Jacobson stares in, fresh count to the next batter in Engelhard. That's going to miss as the count here is 1-0. To wrap up the line now on Christian Little with his 1 run having come across, pitched an inning plus, allowed 4 hits, gave up the 1 run. That was Brock Wilken as he came home on the 2-run shot from Joe Vetrano. Did not walk anybody, did not strike anybody out. It's a 1-0 count here to the batter in Chase Engelhard still. Jake Geloff stands on deck. For Joe Vetrano, that is his first extra base hit of the season. As this one's going to be hit on a line, couple of hops over to Ritter, right over at short, throw on to second for 1 and then first for 2. They do get the double play. Down goes Mccarty and Engelhard. So the error, nothing comes of it, but there are still 2 across here in this inning as now Jake Geloff comes up to bat.
Yeah, unfortunate there, especially with no outs that you hit into the double play and now the bases are all clear, but at the end of the day, you're happy with how the inning started. Of course, you'd like more, but now you got to really have your pitching come up big. Still time here. We've seen a 2-out rally. That was just an inning ago in the 7th.
And that is when the Mariners were able to string together 3 straight singles to drive home Matt Gussetti. As Geloff on the day so far, 0 for 3. The count is even here, 1-1. Opened at 0-1, and he just took a ball down low at 92 miles an hour. So it's 1-1. Jacobson stares in, holds the glove about head height, and comes home. That'll be sliced back foul, and the count here is now 1-2. Harwich, what a way to snap this losing streak would it be? Should they be able to hold on here? Up by 3 with only so much time remaining in the ball game. But of course, this is a Cotuit team that has been the top team in the Cape League in offense as the 1-2 misses down low, leading the league in batting average, on-base percentage, and slugging percentage. And so they are sure to not go down without a fight. Time called here by the catcher. So for Vetrano, felt like it was really a matter of time here. 13 home runs across his 52 games played over at BC. That's averaging about a home run every 4 games as down goes Jake Geloff looking. That is the first strikeout for Will Jacobson. And for Geloff, he's now 0 for 4 on the day. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Cotuit down by 3 now, thanks to a 2-run jack from Joe. We'll be back with more on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Welcome back inside Lowell Park. Tim Foley and Devin Dopick along with you. To the bottom of the 8th inning we go. Cotuit down to their final 6 outs as the Harwich Mariners have grabbed a 3-run lead. A comebacker right back to Gage Zeal on the first pitch from C.J. Kafis. Zeal fields it on a hop, throws over to first, and there's very quickly one away in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Huge first out. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You do not want anyone to get on in front of Chandler Simpson because he is just a hitting machine. He's got 2 of the 4 hits on the day for the Kettleers, and if you get him on the base paths or company on the base paths, he's going to make you pay.
So it is Simpson who stands in, as that's in for a called strike despite Gassetti dropping it behind home. So the count opens at 0-1. Gage Zeal is back out there. It's his 2nd inning of work. Did a nice job back in the 7th inning as this ball's going to be popped up foul. That will head out of play. That will drop down in foul territory. A lot of open foul territory along this left field side. Don't have a great view of the right field side, but plenty of room to make a play if you're Harwich. But with the way the shift is going, Mccarty not over toward that line, so no chance of making that play. Nonetheless, it's an 0-2 count here to Simpson, who's facing off against Zeal for the first time. He was 2 for 3 against Sullivan, and he's trying not to strike out here. Here's the 0-2. That'll be hit right back towards Zeal, gets through his legs, and that's going to be a 1-out single for Chandler Simpson. He is now 3 for 4 on the day with 3 singles. Simpson is. He was already batting above 500 coming into today.
It's crazy to think that him hitting 500 in a game would actually lower his average. He's luckily up to 750 for himself. Does a great job there, forcing that one right past Sean Sullivan into center, past Gage Zeal into center field. And they got one on now with 1 out. See what they can do with it.
And so it's now Victor Scott, who is 0 for 3 on the day. It's 0-1 to him quickly as Scott swings and misses. Very quickly, let's take a glance at some out-of-town scoreboards. The Chatham Anglers and YD Red Sox are tied at 2 apiece. That's in the top of the 6th inning at Red Wilson Field. It's the top of the 7th at Stony Brook. 4-3 Falmouth over the Brewster Whitecaps right now. Of course, 4-1 here from Lowell Park. It is the top of the 4th inning over at Doran Park. 2-1 Braves. And then in the bottom of the 3rd over at McKeon Park in Hyannis, it is Wareham 4, Hyannis 3. It's an 0-2 count here to Victor Scott, who fouls off the 0-1. And so Zeal, looking for his 2nd strikeout of the game, steps off the mound, goes through the signals once again with Gassetti, nods, peeks back toward first base at Simpson, now kicks and delivers. The 0-2 misses low and away at 89 miles an hour, and the count moves to 1-2. The sun has gone down, and very quickly the temperature has dropped here at Lowell Park. I have a sweatshirt available. I'm not to put it on yet. It's a 1-2 count. Zeal stares in. This is popped up foul over toward the grandstand along the 3rd base side, and that goes off of the snack shack here at Lowell Park. You could hear it clang off of the metal roof perhaps. The count remains at 1-2 with 1 away. Man on first right now is Chandler Simpson, there for the 3rd time today. Zeal staring in. Looks back over toward first once again. Comes set. Looks toward home and delivers. Kicks in the dirt. 2-2 count now.
Got to dig deep if you're Gage Zeal. Going into the heart of the order, you want to retire Victor Scott. He's 0 for 3 on the day, and he's batting just over 100 coming in. You need to get these outs before you head into the Brooks Baldwins and Cade Kearns of the lineup.
It's a 2-2 count. Zeal comes set, stares home, and the pitch. This one's going to be pulled out toward right field. That one's going back. Seidel charging over, makes the catch in the alley. That one was a pretty hard hit ball off of the barrel at first, but it hung up for Seidel to make the catch out in right center. And there's now 2 away with Chandler Simpson still pinned over at first base.
And you talked about how the sun's gone down here, but in right field, the sun's still very much a factor, so a nice job by Tommy Seidel. Doesn't have the shades on, they're on his hat, but to be able to fight off the sun and haul in a huge out number 2 after a long run is pivotal here for the Mariners.
Tommy Seidel having a very nice game defensively out in right field, gunned down a runner over at second as this ball is going to be fouled off. Chandler Simpson is going to have to head back to first base, but he gunned down Carter Trice over at second base after he had gotten there with no outs. It was a Ryan Ritter line drive to Seidel in right that Seidel was then able to double up Trice on. Trice had taken a rather generous lead over toward third and had got caught out. That was a pivotal moment in the ball game. That was a moment in which Harwich was trying to hold on to their lead, and they were able to successfully do so thanks to the defensive efforts of Seidel and the Mariners in that half inning. So here we are now in the eighth. It's an 0-1 count to the batter in Brooks Baldwin. 2 away here in the inning. Here's the pitch. That's going to get through Gassetti. That'll go back to the backstop. Easy base for Simpson, and he was even thinking two perhaps. Already up to second. He was trying to gauge whether or not he could make his way down to third on the ball that cleanly squeaked through the legs of Matt Gassetti.
Tough break there. They get a runner in scoring position for a great header in Baldwin. And if you remember, Baldwin had that controversial strikeout looking that set off Coach Roberts. That was back in the 6th.
This ball is going to be pushed opposite field, but that's going to land foul. Had a lot of tail on it. Looked perhaps fair off the bat, but kept on spinning and ended up landing foul. It's a 1-2 count here to Brooks Baldwin. A huge turning point in the game here. Yes, Harwich up by 3, but Cotuit trying to pass the baton. There's a man on second in Chandler Simpson, and Brooks Baldwin has 2 strikes against him with 2 away in the inning. Harwich trying to head to the 9th. Gage Zeal, the pitch. Off speed, misses high. Chandler Simpson, another free base. That's the second pitch that has managed to get to the backstop. That one on Zeal this time, acknowledging Patz's chest on the return throw from Gassetti. And so it's a 2-2 count with now Chandler Simpson all the way over to third without so much as a second hit in this inning for Cotuit.
Yeah, kind of tough, but again, that means nothing if Zeal's able to record the out here. Just got to find a way to dig deep. Crucial out coming up.
It's a 2-2 count. Zeal ready. Comes set. Simpson's on third. The pitch. Kicks in the dirt. Gassetti gets a block on it this time. And you cannot let that ball get by you once again. The relay from first to second for Simpson, that was on a passed ball that got straight through the legs of Gassetti. But then the relay from second to third for Simpson, that was over Gassetti. That was a wild pitch, so this battery has been helping Simpson to move along. Here's the 3-2. That'll be hit right back up the middle. That's going to get into the outfield, and Chandler Simpson is home for the second time tonight. That'll be a 2-out single for Brooks Baldwin, and the Kettleers are back to within 2 here in the top of the 8th inning. Bottom of the 8th inning, excuse me.
Yeah, clutch piece of hitting, full count, and Baldwin, after fouling off pitch after pitch, wins the battle against Zeal, rips an RBI single, first run that Zeal has allowed of the season, and now the tying run is brought to the plate in Cade Kern. Actually, might be a pinch hitter.
It looks as though it is, as Coach Steve Rosen heads out onto the mound to have a conversation with his pitcher in Gage Zeal. So the man who currently stands in for the Kettleers, well, that is Josh Pearson. Pearson, the freshman out of LSU. So far on the season, just 1 for 1. He's come in 1 pinch hitting stint. That was back on June 22nd, 2 days ago, in the 3-3 tie against the Falmouth Commodores. And so he was 1 for 1, as mentioned, this season at LSU, batting .299, 34 runs scored, 9 doubles, 8 home runs, 35 RBI. This, I think, is a threat here if you're Harwich. Not a guy you want to see step in. Not the largest fellow on the team. He is 5'10", about 195, but his stats seem to prove he can do damage when he steps in.
Yeah, absolutely. The 8 home runs should be something to worry about this past season if you're Harwich. Don't want this guy to get a hold of one. Favorable matchup, righty on lefty as well.
As the first pitch misses for a ball, it's 1-0.
That was the 30th pitch Zeal has thrown in this outing.
As the 1-0 comes in, that'll catch the inside part of the zone, and it's 1-1. Most of which I have to imagine have come in this inning. It was a relatively light inning of work back in the 7th. all things considered. Only faced 4 batters, but now here we are on the 5th batter of the inning in the 8th inning. Josh Pearson stands in. Here's the 1-1. Swung on and missed. A high fastball, 93 miles an hour. Got him to bite. Couldn't find any of it. It's a 1-2 count with 2 away. Gage Zeal trying to send this game to the 9th inning. Stares back over at first base. Brooks Baldwin stands there still after his RBI single. The pitch. That's going to be fouled off and out of play. So it remains 1-2 here to the batter in Josh Pearson.
And the previous high for pitches was 29 across 2 complete innings for Zeal. He's now through just 1 2/3, and this will be the 34th pitch of the at-bat.
It's a 1-2 count. Zeal, again another peek over at Baldwin on first. Here's the pitch. That one in the dirt. Runner goes for second. Throw down to the bag. Beat him by a country mile. Out is Baldwin. The Kettleers try to steal a lot of bases, but not this time, says Matt Gassetti, as he's able to rifle Brooks Baldwin out at second. So that does it for the 8th inning of play. The Harwich Mariners head to the 9th inning, doing what little teams have been able to say to this point in the season. They have a lead against Cotuit heading into the final frame. We'll be back with more Harwich Mariners baseball on the other side. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. We bring you to the top of the 9th inning. The Harwich Mariners holding on to a 2-run lead over the Cotuit Kettleers, who currently sit atop the Cape Cod Baseball League in regards to their record at 9-0-1. 19 points they have been. Spectacular to this point in the season, yet to have a loss against their record, but now are 3 outs away from the very first instance in which they've gone home with a loss. It's a 1-0 count here to the batter in Matt Gassetti, who was able to close out that bottom of the 8th inning by throwing out Brooks Baldwin as he tried to steal second base. It's a 1-0 count. That'll be sliced back foul, and the count now 1-1 here. This is not the first time this season, I will say, that the Cotuit Kettleers have trailed by 2 heading into the 9th inning. They actually were trailing against Falmouth by a score of 3-1 heading into the 9th back last Wednesday when they tied their first game of the season. So not entirely unfamiliar territory here if you're Cotuit, but of course their backs are still against the wall.
Yeah, you can never count them out. The positive thing is now you're into the heart of their order, which unfortunately today for them does not have a hit. 4, 5, 6 due up. Actually 1 hit off the bat of Carter Trice.
As Gassetti, a grounder over to third base, thrown on to first by Karros. That's in time, 1 away. This brings up Cole Harding, who's been having himself a day here. Harding, he is 2 for 3, 2 singles, as he was a big part in helping to get Matt Gassetti around over to second base back in the 7th inning, as he was ultimately driven in by Nick Goodwin, only for the Mariners' lead to then be bolstered back in the 8th inning on a 2-run shot from Joe Vetrano, his first of the season, as Will Jacobson is back on the mound for the Kettleers for his 2nd inning of work. This is his first clean inning. Came in just as Joe Vetrano had hit that home run. That was the first batter he faced, Jacobson, but was then able to retire the next 3 batters. Did allow Mccarty to get on. It was by an error, but then a 6-4-3 double play were the first 2 outs of the inning, and then he struck out Jake Geloff looking to end the 8th. It's a 1-1 count here to the batter in Cole Harding, as Harding, the 2 hits here today, matching what he was able to have back in game 1 of the doubleheader against Hyannis. He'll push this one out toward right field. Underneath it is Brooks Baldwin. He'll make the catch, and there's now 2 away here in the top of the 9th inning.
Yeah, he must be seeing beach balls. He stung that one regardless of the fact that he got out. Probably just 5 or 10 feet from the wall. A nice play there out and right by Brooks Baldwin, but Cole Harding really came to play today. You got to tip your cap to the guy in the 9th spot.
And so this now brings up the top of the order for the 5th time here tonight in Nick Goodwin. Goodwin on the day, 2 for 4. A double back in the 5th, and then had that RBI single back in the 7th to put Harwich ahead. This ball's going to be sliced back, foul out of play. That will land over in the woods, and the count opens at 0-1. But it's been a great day at the plate for Harwich here. 9 hits, had 10 last game out against Wareham, so you have to feel the tides are turning just a bit. Only had the 3 runs against Wareham, the 4 here today, as the 0-1 pitch is going to be held off of by Goodwin. He'll watch it miss outside at 80 miles an hour, and the count evens out at 1-1. Harwich, 2 hits from Goodwin, a hit from Seidel, Wilkin, Vetrano, Engelhardt, and Gussetti, and then 2 hits from Harding. The only Mariners without hits, Jake Geloff and Ryan Mccarty, as the 1-1 misses outside again at 80 miles an hour. That exact same spot, it's now 2-1, and even then for Mccarty, he's managed to get on. So Mccarty has now gotten on in 4 straight games, and he's been great for Harwich as of late. As the 2-1 pitch is delivered. That'll be hit out towards center field by Goodwin. Back to make the catch is Victor Scott. Settles underneath it, makes the catch, and ends the inning. The Cotuit Kettleers trail by 2. The Harwich Mariners are trying to get off the schneid and snap this 3-game losing skid, while also handing Cotuit their first loss of the season. We'll see what they're able to do when we return. We'll be back with the end of this one on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Welcome back inside of Lowell Park. The Harwich Mariners trying to end what has been an undefeated streak to open up the season for the Cotuit Kettleers, 9-0-1, but they are 3 outs away from Harwich getting off of a 3-game losing streak while handing Cotuit their first loss of the season. It's going to be Josh Pearson, Carter Trice, as well, Carter Trice, Justin Mickness, and Ryan Ritter all due up in this, it will be, excuse me, as I forgot, Brooks Baldwin was caught stealing back to end the 8th inning, and so it's going to be Josh Pearson, Carter Trice, and Justin Mickness, as I originally forecasted, to open up this inning for Cotuit. The day is done for Gage Zeal. He went 2 complete, gave up 3 hits, a run. It was earned. He hit a batter and struck out 1. So the arm on the mound now for the Mariners to try to close this one out of UNC Wilmington, Hunter Hodges. Hodges, the Wilmington, North Carolina native. His first pitch is a ball, but his second pitch comes right back and is in for a called strike against Pearson. Hodges, this is his 3rd appearance of the season. So far, a 0-0 record. He does have a save on the season. This is a save situation, trying to lock up his 2nd of the season should he be able to close it out. He's pitched 3 complete innings, struck out 5, has not walked anybody, and has only allowed 1 hit. Devin, what do you think of the decision here to go to Hodges as the 1-2 comes in and misses high and outside at 81?
Absolutely the right call. Hasn't pitched since June 16th in the 2-1 win against YD, so you know he's going to be fresh. You know what he can bring, a guy who loves to punch out hitters and going through the heart of the order. This is exactly who you want.
As this ball's going to be hammered out to right center field, going back for it is Harding. He will make the catch, and that's a loud first out here in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, a little scary. I think all the Mariners fans in the ballpark definitely lost their breath as that one was lifted high and deep, but just a little too high. Didn't have the carry that Pearson wanted, and as you put it, Tim, allowed out number 1.
And so we have another pinch hitter coming up here for the Cotuit Kettleers. It's instead of Carter Trice, who was the designated hitter, it's now going to be Tyler Johnson, the senior out of Coastal Carolina. So far, 1 for 4 on the season. A run, it was a home run at that, having come across. He's also struck out 3 times, so it's been all or nothing so far for Johnson, albeit a small sample size. It's very quickly a 2-0 count to him. Hodges rocks and delivers. Off speed, 82 miles an hour. Tries to get it to float in there for a strike in the top of the zone, but he can't find it. It's a 3-0 count here as Hodges at risk of walking. Next pitch in for a called strike, and the count moves to 3-1. Hodges rocks and delivers the 3-1 pitch, skips in the dirt, and that's going to be a walk. Heading down to first base now is going to be Tyler Johnson, and the Kettleers are in business.
Yeah, tying run coming up. This will be the biggest test that Hodges has been put in. Granted, he did get that save with just 1 run separating the 2 scores. We'll get a pinch runner here.
And it looks like it's going to be Caleb Lamatvita, who heads down to first base here for the Kettleers so far this season. 2 for 2 on stolen bases is Lamatvita, or
I think it's
Lomavita.
Lomavita is what the PA announcer just said.
As sight reading, not exactly my forte. As Hodges stares in here. So now there's a new base runner on first in Lomavita. First pitch comes in to the batter in Mickness, and it is swung on and missed. 90 miles an hour. Mickness couldn't find any of it. So far on the day, 0 for 2, hit by a pitch and stranded on first in his last at-bat back in the 7th inning. Hodges the 0-1. Skips in the dirt before home plate. Cassetti able to get a block on it. And the count moves now to 1-1. Hodges trying to find the strike zone here. Walked Johnson after getting Pearson to fly out to right field. As the 1-1 count here to Mickness. Double play ball is an option here if you're Harwich. Here's the pitch. 82 miles an hour right over the heart of the plate. Strike 2.
Can't hang one out here. Mickness, although just hitting 167 coming into today and 0 for 2 on the ball game, he does have a home run. So a guy that has some power, Got to make sure you don't hang one if you're Hodges.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He got him. Down goes Mickness. First strikeout of the game for Hunter Hodges as Harwich 1 out away from walking out of Cotuit with a win.
And that might be the nastiest breaking ball I have seen all season with my own 2 eyes. The string that was pulled on this was at the last minute. The pitch came in the low 80s, had speed on it, and holy cow, what a great job there by Hunter Hodges. Just yanked the string to get the swinging strikeout.
As you look at Hodges' arsenal, he's got a fastball, a wipeout slider, and a changeup. And I think that Justin Mickness just got a taste of that slider just then on that last pitch. It's 0-1 very quickly here to Ryan Ritter, as now Hodges ahead in the count. Still on first right now is Loma Vida for the Kettleers. Hodges stares in and delivers off speed, 82 miles an hour. Tried to get him with the changeup, but that misses up high, and so the count now 1-1.
Ritter, a dangerous hitter, although in the bottom of the order, hitting .371 into today.
Hodges stares in the 1-1. Tried to check his swing, but he went around, so says Mark Delaney. So now the Kettleers down to their final strike here as Hunter Hodges tries to lock up his second save of the season. It's a 1-2 count to the batter in Ryan Ritter. Hodges stares in, takes a peek back over at Loma Vida on first. 2 away, a 1-2 count. Here's the pitch. Skips in the dirt. Gassetti does a nice job getting out in front of that one. He's been busy all day, it feels. We've seen a lot of balls that have skipped in the dirt right before home plate that he has just put his body on the line, got it out in front with the chest protector, and has eaten it with the pads.
And yeah, we can speak to that. I mean, he threw out Brooks Baldwin. That's not going to really show up on the stat sheet, but a huge out that proved to be in the 8th.
The 2-2. Swung on and missed, and that's the ball game. The Harwich Mariners snap their 3-game losing streak as they hand Cotuit their first loss of the season. 4-2 the final here from Lowell Park on this Friday evening. We'll take a step aside. We'll count the numbers for you as we look to recap this one for you on the Harwich Mariners postgame show. Once again, the final, the Harwich Mariners 4, Cotuit Kettleers 2. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. welcome back inside of Lowell Park, the Harwich Mariners post-game show, as the Mariners are able to pull out a 4-2 victory over the Cotuit Kettleers, a game in which Harwich, it was a very quick start to this game. The first 3 innings went by across 30 minutes of play, very quickly paced, but in the end, the Harwich Mariners were able to dig it out against Cotuit.
Yeah, what a win, and I think you really got to take a look at Sean Sullivan here. The late game heroics definitely will overshadow his performance, but he went 6 strong innings, the longest start for a Mariners starter this season, allowed just 3 hits, 1 run, walked just 1, and punched out 6. His line was incredible, and I think that based on the quality of starts you've been getting, Sean Sullivan really stepped up today in a big way to snap the losing skid.
Absolutely unbelievable performance from him. Gage Zeal and Hunter Hodges as well coming in to help lock this one down. Hunter Hodges ends up getting the save, and the loss here today goes to Christian Little, who pitched an inning plus, allowed 4 hits, and gave up 2 runs in his outing. For Joe Vetrano, a 2-run shot. How big was it for him to be able to come out here and show off his hitting here?
I mean, talk about a guy who really needed to break through. Joe Vetrano had just 1 hit in his last 5 games, and he shows up with what would prove to be a game-winning 2-run bomb as they won 4-2. Just a huge piece of hitting. That's called being clutch. Joe did his job there and really cashed in a big way.
And I think one of the things that was sort of understated throughout the game but has really shown its value now that the game's come to an end was that big 0 in the box score for the Mariners. 0 errors here on the game. They've been struggling with committing errors across their past couple of games, but none committed here today, as in a tight game, a single error could have ultimately cost you this one at least a point. But impressive, Harwich able to go without an error. This only the 4th time this season they have not committed an error in a game.
And yeah, to speak to that, their defense was incredible. The Tommy Seidel putout from right field, the 9-6 double play, it started that inning, 1st and 2nd, nobody out. That changed the course of it. There was now 2 outs, a runner on first, and they were able to get out of it. And then in the 8th inning, Matt Gassetti with a huge throw out to end the rally by Cotuit in the 8th. They were only able to get 1, and the damage was limited. Everybody showed up to play against a great Cotuit team, and they were rewarded.
And so that'll do it for us here. A 5:30 first pitch tomorrow against Orleans at home here or over at White House Field in Harwich, Massachusetts. June 25th, of course, the date for that one. Should be an exciting contest between Harwich and Orleans tomorrow.
I'm really looking forward to it. I think I speak on behalf of all of us. Looking forward to getting back home and hopefully starting a little win streak here.
So that will do it for us here from Lowell Park. For Devin Dobeck and the rest of our media team, I'm Tim Foley saying thanks so much for listening. And here's the final score for the final time. The Cotuit Kettleers 2, the Harwich Mariners 4. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow.